Hello, everyone. It's me, Ronald Young Jr. I'm currently sitting in a hotel room 8 hours from my home in North Augusta, South Carolina. I'm here with my father for a funeral. My uncle Butch died. He married my auntie, Mary Catherine. So if you're wondering why you're hearing me in a terrible format, it is because I left my mic at home and I'm still editing this episode while on the road. I wasn't going to let the fact that I couldn't do a crisp and clean introduction at home in my fancy mic stop me from making the introduction to this very exciting episode of Leaving the Theater that we have for you this week. So please forgive the audio now. It will be a regular episode right after the credits music. But strap in for M3gan 2.0. I'm Ronald Young Jr. and I'm leaving the theater. All right, this is Ronald, and I am leaving the theater after seeing M3gan 2.0. M3gan 2.0, written and directed by Gerard Johnstone, starring Allison Williams, Violet McGraw, Amie Donald, Jenna Davis, Brian Jordan Alvarez, Jen Van Epps, and Ivanna Sakhno. And as usual, for a complete cast listing, you can go to the link in our show notes. I am not here alone. I am here with
Jonquilyn Hill, or JQ, they're interchangeable.
Jonquilyn Hill, aka JQ, they are interchangeable. The reason why Jonquilyn is here is because we were seeing Joyride maybe last year or the year before, and as we were walking out of the theater, you said to me, hey, have you seen M3gan? Because the M3gan poster was up on the wall, and you said, have you seen M3gan? And ever since then, I've been calling the movie M3gan, or to anybody that will listen, and I was like, you know who'll definitely want to see M3gan 2.0? Jonquilyn Hill.
Yes, you were absolutely right. I am an M3gan fan. I love camp. I'm not a scary movie person, but I am a camp person, and M3gan is camp.
It absolutely is. This, for those who don't know, is a film series about essentially what is a killer robot who is assigned to take care of a little girl, and she is designed by the little girl's aunt because the girl is dealing with grief. We're back to that again for those that listen to the Elio episode. But the girl was dealing with grief, so they create this robot in order to be the child's best friend. The aunt creates a robot to be the child's best friend, and in trying to protect the child, the android robot, whatever, gets out of control in the first one, but they defeat it at the end of the first one, and it kind of uploads itself into the cloud. We pick up in M3gan 2.0 with M3gan having been uploaded to the cloud, and all of the questions about AI and tech ethics are all swirling around, and we're still centered around Allison Williams as the auntie and her niece. All right, we're all caught up. With all that being said, Jonquilyn Hill, what did you think of M3gan 2.0?
Overall, I really liked it. It's still camp. There is, if you saw the first one, you know that there is some iconic singing. The iconic singing continues, and it caught me by surprise, and it was quite pleasurable. I think they jumped kind of right into the action, it felt like. Like, there was a little bit of exposition, and then they jumped right in. I don't know, the pacing in the beginning felt a little off, but once we were rolling, I was like, okay, we're rolling. And another thing that I found interesting about it was, there are real life conversations about AI, and it mirrored that quite a bit. Like, at my day job, I work at Vox. There's a lot of coverage of effective altruism, and I could tell that the people who wrote this, the people who directed it, they were very well versed in effective altruism, and also they probably read The Anxious Generation. They're very concerned about babies and smartphones.
Yeah, that seemed to be a lot of the theme early in the film, and they set up with Allison Williams' character, who I'm forgetting her name in the movie, but they set up Gemma. Her name is Gemma. They set up with Gemma kind of going on a nationwide tour, apologizing for creating a killer robot, and then also saying, hey, we need to do more in order, everything that you mentioned, we need to do more in order to protect our children, which kind of sets up like where the movie is positioned here. The question it's asking, is technology good? Is technology bad? Which isn't that deep of a question these days. I mean, it's like we know that the answer is a little bit more nuanced, but when you add killer robots into the mix, it kind of makes it clear like, oh no, technology might be bad, which is kind of something that we all kind of, that operates in the back of our minds. You mentioned something, there is a reference to Iran early in this film, yes. And we can tell that this movie was not written within the last couple of months based on what we just saw.
Yeah, okay, so at the beginning of the film, there is a reference to, like, a conflict in Iran, and I was like, wait, this movie was created a while ago, but I'm also just like, wait, is Iran about to be the big bad in pop culture now? Like, I don't know if they did that on purpose. I
think that's a bad idea.
But, like, it just makes me think in the 80s it was all about Russia. And then in the aughts it was, like, this vaguely Middle Eastern thing. And I'm like, now is it going to be, like, straight up Iran as the big bad in our action movies?
I hope that's not the case. I think in this case, because of when it was written, I would feel safe saying no, that's probably not going to be the direction that they're pushing in. As the movie continues, I agree with you about the pacing. There's something about it that slowed down, and they kept like taking their time to explain things to us, whether through expositional means or through kind of just like, I mean, it was either a person monologuing or just like small conversations, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the biggest kind of exposition thing that I noted was the one in the beginning where it was like, I'm your therapist, tell me how things have been, and kind of using that as a way to lay out, what's happened in these last 2 years. I will say one thing I really liked is that they used the same actress. Clearly, like, there's growth happening, getting older, like I was like, okay, like I see they are setting up both Allison Williams and the young woman who plays her niece, like they are setting them up a little bit for some action stardom.
Yeah, I think they are. You mean in the film?
Mm-hmm, in the film.
Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, especially as soon as they show her doing Aikido, I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely going to be, at some point, we're going to see that used. It's kind of like Chekhov's gun, where it's like we saw this in the first act, and we're definitely going to see this in the third act, and we're not really disappointed there either. There's actually a lot of femme fatale in this film in a way that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, it's very femme fatale. It's also a lot of like girl boss. It's a lot of like, I feel like girl boss reclamation going on. Because like, I don't know, Megan's a baddie. She is. At the end of the day, she is. I mean, like, she's new and improved. She's taller. There's growth. Yeah.
I feel like when it comes to the Megan of it all, I will say the hardest thing for me is how fake she looks in the face. And I understand that that's part of like, hey, that's the point. But there's a few times in which I'll see her doing something and she kind of looks like Team America, World Police.
Yes. And the other robot looks so real that it's like,
yes.
Oh, this is like the grown woman version. But yeah, I was surprised that they didn't make her more lifelike, but I guess they were like, oh, she makes a point like, don't change my face. But yeah, it was she looked, it's Uncanny Valley.
It's also kind of weird that they wouldn't change her face because, like, I know we're used to a version of it in the first film, but in terms of like the story, it didn't really matter as long as we heard Megan's voice, and her mannerisms, it really didn't matter. And there's a part in the movie in which Megan becomes animated, like she's like a cartoon. And even that, I was like, well, this is well done. I would definitely watch whatever animated spinoff they do of this.
Do you think we'll get Megan the animated series?
I don't know, but I do know this. I wouldn't be surprised, but I do know this. You know, they're making a spinoff where a guy has a sex doll, like it's set in the same universe.
It's a spinoff of Megan, and they're doing this.
Yes, I forgot the name of it. I saw it on Wikipedia today, and it's already being made.
You have given me fantastic news.
Yeah.
Like my thing is like, was it as good as the first? I don't know. But this might be like one of the franchises of our era and time, I think. Just because of the subject matter, the campiness. It's like it's getting at something, but it pokes fun at it simultaneously.
Yeah. I think you haven't seen the Terminator series. I think this definitely could go the way of well, I mean, Terminator has like a lot more possibilities because it's time travel, but this one, the beats are similar, like Terminator related. So I will say, I don't know where they're going with the third one, but I could see that there's definitely some life left in this in terms of the conflicts that they go for in the future. Now, with all of that being said, what do you rate this movie out of 5 stars? I
would give it a 3.95. I wanted to put it at a 4, which is like a general, like, yeah, go see it in the theater. Oh, it's on, I'm turning it on. I think like there was a little roughness to it. I think, there were times where the pacing could have been better, but I will say it was fun. If you and your friends enjoyed the first M3gan, go see this one. It's still camp. She's still a baddie. And, also it's going to be important because I think we're going to be getting more sequels. So, you need to see all of them if you're going to do it.
I agree. I think this is something that we're going to see more of. All of the reasons that you said that make it rough made it a lower scoring movie for me. Mm-hmm. So for me, I give it a 3.25 because I do think people should see it. I do think you should go with your friends. I do think y'all should like make it a girls' night or a guys' night or a family night without the kids, date night, whatever. You're gonna have a good time, but it is like I don't. There's a lot of plot points of the first M3gan that I don't remember. You know what I mean? There's a lot of parts of it. And I feel like this is another movie that's going to evaporate from my mind. But when they come up and say, M3gan 3.0, she's back, I'll be like, yeah, I'll go watch another one. So I feel like that's enough to get me into theaters because I still think that being in the theater and watching a movie is a fun experience, especially when the movie is good. And I'm a person that watches I've watched a lot of Oscar-winning boring stuff where they forced me to go to a theater to watch The Brutalist for 3.5 hours. But we were in there for just under 2 hours. We had a good time. We shared some popcorn. We have some memories. Like that's all you can ask for. You know what I mean? And that's a 3-star movie, and I think it's above a 3-star movie.
Yeah, it was a great time. Okay, there were 2 things I wanted to make note of.
Sure.
One, the product placement was very prominent. Pepsi, whoever owns Chee-tohs, I don't know if it's Frito-Lay or whoever.
It's Frito-Lay.
But they were very prominent. It's like, I'm drinking a can of Starry. I have a Mountain Dew. Here are my Chee-tohs. The other thing was, Allison Williams has a great fight scene, but the way they do it so that her hair is covering her face, I'm like, oh, they did this for the stunt double to make it easy for the stunt double. And so it's a good. Those are just 2 little things I noticed, but the product placement, wow, mega. And I will say, because Ronald, on the way here, we were talking about Love Island. I've seen an M3gan Love Island ad.
That makes sense. I like the crossover. I like the synergy. Yeah, the product placement generally, it was funny. We just talked about F1, and the product placement in F1 was out of this world because they were wearing racing suits. Oh. So, they already had Expensify, which was apparently the chief sponsor of this movie, just all over everything. It's in the branding, all that stuff. I still don't know how I completely feel about product placement when it's that, like drinking a Starry. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Where I'm just like, come on, man. And the label out, I'm like, nobody drinks soda like that, man. Just give her a regular can. What are we talking about here? So I'm like, it doesn't take me out of the movie, but you did lean over and say, what's up with the product placement? And I think the scary part about it is I didn't notice it until you pointed it out. And then once you pointed it out, I'm like, oh yeah, it's everywhere. Like, this is kind of wild. I did notice they were eating a bag of Chee-tohs, not like a bag of chips, a bag of Chee-tohs specifically. So I'm like, also, before I let you go, are Chee-tohs chips?
Oh my gosh. Okay, technically no, but if someone asks me to name my top chips, I'm going to say hot Cheetos. I actually had a discussion with some friends not too long ago where we talked about our top 3 chips. Hot Cheetos, and then I would have to say the Voodoo chips from Zapp's, and then Lay's Casey Masterpiece Barbecue.
I don't think Cheetos are chips, but I can understand them.
Would you rank them, though?
I would rank. Flaming Hot Cheetos are the GOAT. Yeah. I absolutely agree. But if somebody said, Ronald, you want some chips, and they turned to me and had a bag of Cheetos, I'd say, I'll have some. Or do you have chips?
What if they said hot chips? What if they said hot chips?
Then I would expect them to be Oots jalapeno chips.
Really? To me, if someone says hot chips, I'm like, oh, you're about to give me hot Cheetos. But they're not chips. They aren't chips. But if you tell me you're getting me hot chips, I think they're hot Cheetos.
But there are so many actually hot chips, like the Red Hot Oots chips.
I mean, that is true. But I would just be like, it would be, I would eat them, but I'd be like, oh, I was expecting a hot Cheeto.
I need y'all to all, you know what? With that, Leaving the Theater is a production of Oh, It's Big Ron Studios. I mixed this episode. And if you're interested in discussions like whether or not Cheetos are chips and you want to find out more, you can come find me in any of the places. But just know I think about stuff like this all the time. And I really think that that might be my next pontification on my vlog, which is only available on Patreon. Patreon.com/Leaving the Theater. That's where you can go support the show, support me, listen to my thoughts on whether or not Cheetos are chips, and Love Island. Two things that I'm going to be talking about very soon on the vlog, but you can only see that if you are a contributing member on patreon.com/Leaving the Theater, or go to the link in our show notes. Once again, this helps us to make the show. We have to pay for parking. Sometimes we have to pay for tickets. Today was a press screening, but if you'll notice, we have a couple more episodes coming out because there's 2 movies a week during the summer, so we got stuff coming out. So yeah, we've got a lot going on, and if you want to help us with that, again, go to patreon.com/Leaving the Theater, or go to the link in our show notes. Show art from Heather Wilder. Theme music by the mysterious Breakmaster Cylinder. For more information about M3gan 2.0 or Jonquilyn Hill, check out our show notes. You can follow me on Instagram, Blue Sky, TikTok, Threads, or Letterboxd at Oh It's Big Ron. That's at OHITSBIGRON. You can find out more about this show and other Oh It's Big Ron Studios shows by following us on Instagram at Oh It's Big Ron Studios. Leaving the Theater will be back soon. Thanks for listening, and thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome.